Okay. Hi, I'm Megan Valdez. I am a professor at A&M San Antonio. Prior to working as a professor at A&M, I was a postdoctoral researcher, which means that after I got my PhD, I worked on a research project with mosquitoes that are transgenic, which in a way tries to help control the mosquito population. And I worked on poultry vaccines, and because I'm also a parasitologist, so I also study parasites. So those were the major jobs that I had prior to becoming a professor. What I learned from my first job as the one that's related to this, as a researcher for a big industry, is that you can make a lot of money doing industry work, but for me personally, as the individual that I am, I really missed the academic discussions I would have with colleagues. Even though it happened there, I still just really missed teaching. I missed having a fresh batch of students every single semester. That keeps me feeling young. The high school senior, I wanted to be a physical therapist, and I worked as a physical therapy assistant. I guess that was sort of a job. I worked as a physical therapy assistant prior to starting college, and I was doing some ultrasounds and realized I was getting super grossed out and knew that being a physical therapist would not be in my future. But then I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I had this professor who thought I was amazing, which I don't know why, and then he asked me to come to a field biology program where I studied field research. It was amazing, and I said I want to be a researcher and an academic and a professor because that guy was so cool. I usually spend a full day at work, but I also work a lot at home, and even despite the COVID pandemic right now. But my work day, for example, today I was on a committee for a search for somebody who's looking to work here at A&M San Antonio. And so I was on a few meetings this morning, and then I came here to teach my Gen Bio 1 lab, which is a 3-hour lab. After that, I'll go back and I'll probably do some grading. I will probably do some reading of some papers to get prepared to do a research grant that I'm submitting. And then I also have a research lab that happens to be next door to this lab. And so I also do research mostly during the summers because I'm a mosquito biologist and that's when mosquitoes are out. So it really depends on the season on which aspect I'm doing. But teaching has always been a major part of it, and mentoring undergrads is also a major part. The stuff that I do at home are things like grading and answering emails. One of the big things, and I think this is true with all jobs, is the buzzword collegiality. And that means getting along with your peers. And that means being patient and being respectful of other people's ideas and the way they think about the world. And so don't assume that the way you think about the world is the only way to go. And so sometimes when people sort of forget those basic rules of collegiality, there ends up being tension, and then your workplace becomes a place you don't really want to go. I would say you maintain your collegiality and your willingness to work through differences, you'll be a happier person in your workplace. When pursuing a career in this field, it takes longer than you think to get where you want to get. And therefore, you have to be patient. And all of your family members who are asking you why you don't have a real job yet, you tell them it's because I'm building my resume so that I can get a real job and be fulfilled with your life. So as far as building a resume for a career in science, it's more about your skills. It's not as, it is, yes, about your job experience, but you want to highlight all the skills you've gained during your education. So for my students here at A&M San Antonio, we really try to work on building their skill set. And I always tell them when they're building their resume, hey, tell them you know how to use a micropipetter. And so, which we just learned in class. So that's something that they should list as relevant skills. It's huge. In addition, one other thing is if you're interested in becoming a researcher of any type, you want to get research experience with a professor, even as an undergrad, as early as possible. So regarding wages and salaries, especially as a woman, you cannot not negotiate. You must negotiate when you are trying to get a job. Don't just accept the first thing that they tell you is what you're going to get. And I have to be honest, I know we're in a tough job market, but don't be afraid to walk away, because if they want you and you are a skilled person and you have a great resume, and they're going to do what they can to make it happen. And one of the other reasons is because any future raise that you get is going to be based on that base salary you started out with. So if you accept low early on, you're only setting yourself up for less advancement later. Right? And so that's why that one is so much more accurate. But hey, through mistakes, you learn, right? Yeah. How are you